Most things around us are made by force. A factory cuts material away, pours it into a mold, presses it into shape, or assembles separate parts. 3D printing feels almost backwards. It does not begin with a solid block and carve away waste. It begins with an empty surface and a digital instruction. Then the machine builds upward, one thin layer at a time. A toy, a dental implant, an aircraft component, or even part of a small house can all begin the same way, as a file on a computer. That is the strange promise of 3D printing. It does not just make objects, it turns information into matter. So how does a flat digital design become something you can hold? Let's get into it right here on Secrets of Simple Things. The moment printing became three-dimensional. For a long time, printing meant putting marks onto a surface. Ink went onto paper, and the result stayed flat. But in the early 1980s, engineers began asking a stranger question. What if a machine could print not an image of an object, but the object itself? That idea became real in 1984 when American inventor Chuck Hull developed stereolithography, or SLA. His process used ultraviolet light to harden liquid resin, layer by layer, until a shape slowly rose out of the material. It was careful, unfamiliar, and very different from making a mold or cutting a part. That difference mattered. Traditional manufacturing could be expensive when a company only needed one test piece. A new mold might cost too much. A small design change could waste weeks. With 3D printing, engineers and designers could create prototypes directly from digital models. Hull later co-founded 3D Systems, helping move the technology into commercial use. At first, this was the real revolution, not replacing every factory, but letting people test ideas faster and cheaper. But the real secret of 3D printing is not the machine itself. It begins before the machine moves at all. The object starts as data. Every 3D printed object begins before anything is printed. First, it exists as data, a digital design made on a screen. Most designs are created in CAD software, short for computer-aided design. Engineers shape machine parts, artists sculpt forms, architects test buildings. Product designers and hobbyists turn rough ideas into something a machine can follow. Sometimes the process starts with a real object instead. A 3D scanner can capture its surface, measure its shape, and turn that physical item into a digital model. Once the model is ready, it is usually saved in a format such as STL or OBJ. That file becomes the bridge between imagination and production, between the picture on the screen and the object waiting to exist outside the screen. But the printer does not see the model the way we do. We may see a cup, a gear, or a small figurine. The machine sees instructions. Imagine a loaf of bread cut into hundreds of extremely thin slices. The printer does not make the whole loaf at once. It recreates each slice, one after another, until the complete shape appears. Once the object has been sliced into invisible layers, the printer can finally begin its slow, precise work. The layer-by-layer rule. The next step is called slicing, and it is one of the quiet reasons 3D printing works. Specialized software takes the digital model and divides it into hundreds, sometimes thousands, of thin horizontal layers. Each layer becomes a map. It tells the printer where material should go, where empty space should remain, and how the object should rise from the build plate. This is the basic rule of additive manufacturing. Traditional tools often remove material. A drill cuts holes. A saw slices. A milling machine shaves away metal or plastic until the final shape is left behind. A 3D printer does the opposite. It adds material only where the design needs it. The most common example is FDM, or fused deposition modeling. A spool of plastic filament feeds into a heated nozzle. Inside the nozzle, the plastic softens and melts. Then the printer moves along a programmed path, laying down a thin line of molten material on the build plate. That line cools quickly and hardens. The nozzle rises slightly, or the build plate lowers, and the next layer is placed directly on top of the last one. At first, the shape may look like a few random lines, then a base appears, then walls, then curves, corners, gaps, and details. After many minutes or hours, the object becomes recognizable. The printer is not carving the object out, it is growing the object upward, but not every 3D printer pushes melted plastic through a nozzle. Different materials need different kinds of magic. Plastic, resin, metal. Different materials, same idea. At the consumer level, the most familiar 3D printing materials are plastics such as PLA and ABS. PLA is popular because it is easier to print, forgiving for beginners, and partly made from renewable resources like cornstarch. ABS is tougher, more durable, and better at handling heat, but it can be harder to print cleanly. Resin printers use a different material, liquid photopolymer resin. Instead of melting plastic, the machine uses ultraviolet light to harden the liquid in precise layers. This can produce very fine details, which is why resin printing is useful for dental models, small figures, jewelry patterns, and objects where sharp edges matter. Industrial printers go even further. Some use metal powder and powerful lasers to fuse each layer into solid parts. Others can work with titanium, stainless steel, nylon, carbon fiber composites, ceramics, or even concrete for construction projects. Researchers have also experimented with recycled plastics, food ingredients, and living cells for medical research. The idea stays the same: build the object layer by layer. But the material changes everything. It decides whether the final object is flexible or rigid, light or heavy, cheap or expensive, decorative or strong enough to work inside a real machine. Because each material reacts differently, the printer must carefully control temperature, speed, and cooling. And that is why 3D printing moved far beyond hobby machines and plastic toys. Why industries started paying attention. Industries began paying attention because 3D printing is valuable in places where ordinary manufacturing struggles. It is not always the fastest way to make millions of identical objects. Its strength appears when a part needs to be customized, tested quickly, or shaped in a way that would be difficult with traditional tools. Medicine is one of the clearest examples. A dental implant, a prosthetic limb, or a hearing aid is not just a product. It has to fit a specific human body. Doctors can also use 3D printed surgical models to study a patient's anatomy before a difficult operation. That makes the technology feel less like a trick and more like precision care. In aerospace, the value is different. Aircraft and spacecraft need parts that are strong, complex, and as light as possible. If 3D printing can reduce weight, it can also help reduce fuel use and cost. In car design, the technology helps manufacturers build prototypes and test ideas before committing to expensive tooling. Architects use it to create miniature building models that make plans easier to see. Schools use 3D printers to teach engineering, design, and the link between digital thinking and physical results. Some construction companies have even experimented with printing walls and small houses using concrete. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, 3D printers helped produce face shields, ventilator components, and other supplies when normal supply chains could not respond fast enough. 3D printing is most powerful when the object does not need to be identical for everyone. But if 3D printing is so flexible, why has it not replaced every factory on Earth? The limits behind the miracle. 3D printing can feel like a miracle, but it is not a perfect replacement for every way humans make things. A printed object may take hours to finish if it is large, complex, or highly detailed. A factory line can produce thousands of identical parts faster and cheaper than one printer building each piece layer by layer. Cost is another limit. Industrial machines can be expensive, and some advanced materials are still costly or difficult to handle. Strength can also be a challenge. Depending on the process and material, a printed part may not always match something forged, molded, cast, or machined. Even when the shape is correct, the surface may need sanding, curing, polishing, or finishing work before it is ready to use. So 3D printing does not erase the factory. It fills the gaps where older methods become slow, wasteful, or too rigid. Its power is not that it does everything better, it is that it can do certain difficult things differently. So the future of 3D printing may not be a world without factories. It may be a world where factories become more flexible. From file to physical form, that flexibility changes how we think about making things. In the past, manufacturing usually meant moving raw materials into factories, turning them into products, and shipping those products across distance. With 3D printing, the file becomes part of the supply chain. Sending a design can be as important as sending the object itself. The same model might be printed in a hospital, a classroom, a workshop, a construction site, or even a space station. A product can be adjusted for one person instead of forced into a single standard shape. And because the printer places material only where the design requires it, there can be less waste than cutting a shape out of a larger block. In the end, 3D printing begins with something invisible, an idea stored as data. Software slices it into thin layers. The printer reads each layer, places material with careful precision, and slowly turns information into physical form. What began as rapid prototyping now serves medicine, education, engineering, construction, and space exploration. It still has limits, but it has changed a basic question of manufacturing. Not just what can we make, but how can an idea become matter itself? If a simple file can become a real object, what else around us began as an invisible idea? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoy discovering the hidden logic behind everyday things, subscribe to Secrets of Simple Things for more stories like this.